if you want to go through the processes again and the tools, you'll get an opportunity to do that through when you have a look at the recording. Again, this I mentioned last week, that all these courses plus many more are available in our platform, freely available, g.co/news training. When I send the slides, you can get the link there. You can have a look and see what you're interested in, and you can take up some of those courses designed to help reporters find and verify and publish stories online. And this is also a tool that is also available. It has many other resources. It's called Journalistic Studio. Some of the tools we'll look at them today. Some will look at them in the next few sessions. So don't worry about this now. I'll go through this later. So fact checking, we'll see how you can use advanced search to fact check. So this is a quick overview of what we did last week, but on how you can use this to fact check. So I won't spend too much time there. Then we'll look at a resource by Google on fact checking. We'll see how you can do photo and video verification. We'll look at a few things on social media and geolocation, and some of the things that some of the examples that we can look at in terms of fact checking. So as you know, fact checking is becoming one of the prime areas in journalism, and not just in journalism, but to the audience. It's critical that as journalists, as content creators, that we pass on information that is correct to the audience. So a lot of information, because of the nature of digital platforms, content that is posted on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, even on WhatsApp, it becomes important that we are able to verify that kind of content before we forward, before we repost, or before we publish. That's why it's an important skill to understand and to be able to use some of the tools that we'll be learning today. So before we get to the tools, I just want to gauge probably our understanding of if we understand the difference between misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Is there a difference between misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation? You can pick one and either type it on the chat section, or you can unmute, whichever you think you know, or whichever you know, or all of them. If you know the difference, please share. What's the difference between misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation? In just your own opinion. It can be your opinion, it can be maybe something you read somewhere. It will help to for us to know the difference. Wamboy says misinformation is sharing of false information. And you also say that there's Arnold who says misinformation is that which is not true. I've seen there, I think misinformation is being incorrectly informed. And then Jack says misinformation can be described as information that misses some details. All right, let's have a look at the definition and see if we can spot the difference. So what is misinformation? Misinformation is information that is false, and some of you have said that correctly. But the difference here is that the person who's disseminating or pushing or sharing that information believes that it's true. So this is according to First Draft News. It's one of the organizations that is at the forefront of fighting fake news. So misinformation, I think Esther, you said just in time, is not deliberate. So someone forwards a message someone repost a message that they honestly believe that it's true because of the source, because the person who maybe forwarded to them or forwarded into the group is a credible person. So that's, it can be anything. So like when we, at the height of COVID, we saw a lot of misinformation. People are forwarding a lot of information which they thought was true about vaccines, about the source, about where what's happening to people who are getting COVID. So you can see, if you're maybe like me in different family groups, in different groups, you'll see that there are people who will push information, who genuinely believe that it's true, but in actual sense, it's not true. So I can see Claire, malinformation is sharing information with malicious intent, e.g. to scare people. And Esther, disinformation is deliberate. And Peggy says malinformation is information that is deliberately shared meant to mislead people. Okay, let's look at that. So misinformation, at least we understand, it's information that is false, but the person who is disseminating it believes it's true. And most of the time, many people will use misinformation as, fake news. Well, it is fake news, but there was no bias. There was no malicious intent, and that's what we look at. The next slide is disinformation. Is information that is false, and the person who's disseminating it knows it is false. So it is deliberate, it is intentional, and it's meant to hoodwink someone or people. So the person who's pushing out this content knows quite well that that what they are doing is a lie and it's not true, and they're supposed to do that to probably shape people's opinion or direct people in a certain direction, which is false. So that's what disinformation is. So the difference between misinformation and disinformation is that disinformation is very deliberate. So we'll see, and we are seeing that, especially now that we are going into the elections, the campaign season. You'll see that there's a lot of disinformation, people editing photos, people are pushing out content which they know, to be honest, that it's not true, and that's disinformation. So what's malinformation? So malinformation is true, it's genuine information that is shared to cause harm. This includes private or revealing info that is spread to harm a person or their reputation. So that's malinformation, and I think all of you have gotten one or the other correct, or some aspects of it correctly. So malinformation is really intended to cause harm, and it can be anything really. It can be private information, it can be very personal and revealing information, which is not meant for the public audience, so it's not public consumption. So it just harms the reputation of people. So this can be, family affairs, that someone is having an affair and all that. That is malinformation. So it's leaked to the press, it's leaked to social media, and it's important for journalists, for people in journalism, to understand the difference between the three, so that as it comes to your desk, as you come across this information, you know how to handle it. So this is the difference between the three main categories of fake news. And I can say, probably just a disclaimer, malinformation. So let's say a public servant, a government officer who has been involved in corruption or something, in some irregularities. If a journalist goes out and does their work and publishes that, of course, after doing their due diligence and after checking, their sources, that if it's published, that is not malinformation, because the content there is basically, it's someone in public office, and what they were involved in affects the public. So that's just a good point to note, where there's a thin line between malinformation and actually doing the investigative work of a journalist. Any question on that? And as we move on, I just wanted to know, so this is a headline. that was published by the Standard I think last year but one. But one of the things that probably came out in the course of that day is another headline that was being shared online. So this looked like the headline of the Standard for that day, but this was being circulated on social media. So you can see that there's a very thin line for many people who are on social media. They may not know the difference, but they may not know which was the real headline for that day and which one was fake. But this is a good example of what we are talking about. So is this disinformation, malinformation, or misinformation? So if the person who created the fake headline, so what did he engage in, or what did she engage in? Was it malinformation, misinformation, or disinformation? Disinformation, malinformation, or misinformation?
Disinformation.
Yes, disinformation. And I see many people also on the chat. That's true. It's disinformation because looks like there's an intent. There's a malicious intent. There's someone who went out of their way to edit the front page and push it as the real headline. Yeah, so that's one thing that we probably need to note, that we are able to identify the different types of fake news. So the tools that we are going to learn, signified by the red toolbox, are important, and they go hand in hand with your journalism training. And as you have been taught, and as you know, that you need to get multiple sources or credible sources or both. In most instances, they go hand in hand. So fake news really spreads fast if we do not do the simple checking, whether it's calling, whether it's doing a quick Google search, whether it's asking the right people. It goes hand in hand. So the toolbox, the tools are not supposed to replace your journalistic skills as a journalist. And in most cases, your first-hand experience as a journalist will come in handy. Just calling your sources, verifying with the people in the team, and verifying with your colleagues, and confirming that. So just to take note of that. So let's look at how can you use advanced search for to verify. So this is something that we went through last week. So one of the ways that you can verify content is knowing some of these operators. For instance, if you have had, you've seen somewhere that, in this example, that Beatrice Elachi has resigned, you can put that in quotation mark. And what you do, for those who are not here last week, when you do that, what Google does, it brings you the results in the exact order. So if you don't put the quotation marks, it will bring Beatrice Elachi resigns probably in different places in a paragraph or in a text or in a story. But if you put the quotation marks, it will be in that exact format. So that helps really to verify content that is online. If it has been published by another media house, if it has been mentioned somewhere on social media, you put the quotation marks, it will bring that kind of result. Searching in specifically on Camry, probably you have seen a poster, a fake poster, and you want to verify, and it's labeled Camry, and we have seen that before, not just Camry, but most media houses have been subject to. Yeah, Michelle, I see. Can someone ask a question in between the session, or one has to wait? No, please feel free to unmute or to ask the question on the chat section. I'll see it, and we'll rather address it as we move on, because we'll be covering many things as we move on. So it's best to answer that question as we move on. So what's your question, Michelle?
I was asking.
Yeah.
You said disinformation is when someone shares news and they know it's fake.
Yeah.
Malinformation is the news shared to cause harm.
Mm-hmm.
But aren't doing the same, because if you share news and you know it's fake, it's going to cause harm one way or another.
No, you said yes, malinformation is to cause harm, but malinformation might be true. It might be, it is often true. Like, as I said, the best example, okay, one of the examples that we give is like someone sharing information about their intimacy relationship, intimate relationship. So it might be true that this person might be involved with this person intimately, or there are photos that have leaked online. So the incidences and the relationship is real, and it's not fake, but it has caused harm to their reputation, and it is not for the good of the public. So that's the difference. Malinformation is true information, but it is not for the good of the public. The person who shares this kind of information is hoodwinking, or rather, they're sharing this information to spoil the reputation of the person, the subject of that content. So that's the difference between the two. Malinformation is true information, but shared with ill intent. I don't know if that's okay. Yeah, that's the main difference. Disinformation is like the total lies, and they are very deliberate. Right? All right. Yeah, please, if there's any question, please feel free to unmute or use the hand button to lift your hand. I'll see it, or just a comment on the chat section. Any other question? Rosemary? Okay. You can unmute, Rosemary. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying that the operators that we learned last week can help you quickly go through content and web content to find the real information. Part of fact checking also involves finding out if some of the statements made by public officials are true or not. Public officials might, whether public or not, they might issue statements and say, "Oh, we have done A, B, C, D, and we have been able to," let's say, for example, "we have built 40 hospitals in the last 6 months in this region." Is there a way to verify that? You can use some of these files, like you can go directly to site colon and Ministry of Health or health.go.ke, and then search for, built hospitals or hospitals built. So that helps you to search within the health.go.ke website with those terms. And so the same goes with file type. You can search with different file types. Related, what related does, it helps you to find related websites. So like if you use related cdc.gov, it will bring you similar sites like CDC. Like if you are into what example can I give? Like if you are used to, there's a certain website that you use to get images to use for your stories, and probably for this story you didn't get a good photo to use in the website that you are used to. So you can go to related colon, you can just maybe splash.com, or whichever, or maybe you are used to, you do stories online or you do courses online. Maybe you can go to Udemy. If you use the related colon udemy.com, then it will bring you sites that are related to Udemy or similar to Udemy. Cache, what Cache does, if there's a previous saved version of a site, it sometimes will be able to save that page, even if it's deleted. You can use Cache, or whether when the site has been moved or when they did an upgrade and the content is no longer there. If you use Cache, you'll be able to get the previous saved site or page. So that's advanced search, and you can also do advanced search on Facebook using the same operators. Like you can search within Facebook groups or Facebook pages. Like in this example here, elections 2022 Kenya. If you search for that, you'll see that there are different Facebook pages which are talking about 2022 elections. So this is, you're just searching Facebook within Google using the Google operator. So you are searching, you can even search groups, the groups that are talking about elections 2022, and you are able to get, different sentiments, what people are saying. And as a journalist, you are always looking for sources, you're looking for news angles, you're looking for something that probably you might have missed out. So this is a way of what we call sort of fishing for stories, or trying to get stories from different sources. So that's using advanced search. So the second tool that we use is Google fact checking resource. And this is what we call fact check tools or fact check explorer. So this is a sort of a directory of many of fact checked statements that have been fact checked before and have been posted by different websites. So let me just share the link so that you have a look at it. So it's called Fact Check Explorer. It looks like this. So this is Fact Check Explorer. So what Fact Check Explorer has done, and it's a Google tool. So what Google did is that there are many news websites, there are many organizations who are now involved in fact checking. And the way they do this is that they look at different claims, whether posted on social media or shared on different platforms, and then they do fact checking on those statements or claims, and then they just do a proper article about that particular statement. When it's posted, then what Google does, it brings all these fact-checked statements in one platform. So this is like I can call it a Google of fact-checked statements or fact-checked claims. So let's see how it works. So let's say you want to fact-check anything about Kenya. You can just type Kenya here and see what has been fact-checked about in Kenya. So this is the claim, and the claim is by, it gives a summary. So this is a claim by Business Daily that tax collections for the first half of the current financial year rose at the fastest pace since President Uhuru Kenyatta took power. So it's just a summary. And then here it gives you who did this fact check, and the fact check was done by Africa Check. There's an organization that does fact checking. It's called Africa Check. And what is the rating? The rating is correct. This is true. And then you can click on this. If you click on this link, it will take you to that story. And this is now where you'll see basically how they went about it, where they got the sources, they put the links, and then they're able to give you a very detailed analysis of how they went about it and the context around that. So this is a good platform to start before you even go anywhere. So you can either do a country, you can do a personality. Let's look for a personality like, I don't know. So this, again, the same process. It's a claim by President Uhuru Kenyatta about KMC. This is the organization that fact check, and this is the statement. They say it's incorrect. This is, I think, something on KMC. Yeah, I'll come back to that. So these are all the statements that they have fact checked about, I think, State of the Nation, if I'm not wrong. And some are misleading, some are correct, some they could not verify. And again, it's from different sources. So different organizations, we are working with different organizations who want to join in. And we want as many news organizations to be part of this so that we can fact check as many things as possible. So Asingwa, you're asking, could you kindly repeat how to get to the Fact Check Explorer? Okay, there's a link here. Let me just paste it here again. Yeah, someone has pasted for you. I think you joined in a bit late, but that's the link. But if probably we come out of this and you didn't save that, just search for Fact Check Explorer. It's a or Google Fact Check Explorer. So it's a faster way maybe to get to that. Yeah, so you can even go by topic. And you can see multiple claims, who fact check, that's AFP. And this is the rating. You can, let's see if you can get anything, elections. So you immediately you see something either on WhatsApp or on social media, this will be a good place to start. And it will sort of, they will try and keep up to speed, especially when there's there are certain circumstances that we see misinformation or fake news spreading. So pandemics, wars, conflict, elections, we usually see a spike of misinformation spreading, because that's when we usually see, you know, there are people taking different sides and different stands on different issues. So just have a look at it. If you probably want to fact check something, this is the first place to start, fact check. And there's a way that we work with media houses. So there's this markup tool. There's a process that they can follow so that they're included in this fact check explorer. Yeah, so please go ahead and see what is available. And this is available globally. So we are trying to work out with as many fact checkers as possible, so that as soon as something is starting to spread, someone has fact checked it, and they have gone ahead and let's see if we can find something recent that happened. I don't know if there's anything has been written about. Let's see if, yeah, so this is something that was shared. Kenya president negotiating for loans in the UK, and it was fact checked by AFP, and the rating is false. And if you click on that article here, it's not loading, but okay. So you can see this is the claim, and this is the verdict, and they even highlight that, you know, this has been altered, and then they give a breakdown of how that was done, and they say this is fake, and they give the context of what was happening, and they give you the real image of sort of the real image that is not edited, and some authority on what was happening. So it's a good tool to start off quickly before you even go on searching on your own or researching on trying to debunk or to fact check. First start with this fact check tool, the Fact Check Explorer. Right, any question on that? Okay, we'll continue. So this is the process. We work with people in web development and webmasters to try integrate this. So immediately, once a website is included in the Fact Check Explorer, once they publish the article, it will be included in this Fact Check Explorer. So let's look at photo and video verification. So how do we go about it? So there are different ways that people manipulate or people push forward fake news using image and video. So there's direct manipulation. So this is editing of photos, editing of videos. So this is direct editing, and then there's wrong caption. So the image might be correct, might be true. Incident happened. It might be true, but the caption is wrong. So they put a different caption that is saying, "Oh, this happened in Mombasa, in when the president visited this place." So the caption might be wrong, but the image might be real. And then there's misleading date. So you'll see that probably there's a protest in Mombasa or protest in Kampala, and they share the image, but the date is completely off. Maybe that image happened, that incident happened years ago. And then the context, missing context. So someone might give you just a small incident or a small portion of what happened, which if you don't know the whole context, if you don't know the more information, it may be misleading. So if you search for it, you'll find it, but you need to read the whole paragraph or the whole story to understand the context. And then there are outright scams, especially with jobs and opportunities. So Wambo, you're asking, is this what the social media sites use to fact check and pull down posts? No, not really. They have their own process. Like Facebook has their own process that they follow. They have their own fact checkers and partners that they work with. But they can also quickly check here if they suspect something is off. They can quickly check, and if they find it is there and they see that they go through the article and they actually confirm on their own, then they can pull down posts or they can downgrade those posts. So some social media sites use it, but just to confirm or to see who else has fact checked, but not necessarily. So there are many organizations that have their own ways of doing fact checking, and they work with different partners. But this one is accessible to everyone. Anyone can just go through that site, Fact Check Explorer, and search for either a personality, or they can check for incidences or any kind of information that they're looking for to see if it has been fact checked before. Thank you for that. So these are mainly 5 ways that we see fake news being pushed forward. So this is a photo of an example of manipulation, and this photo was circulating during the 2017 elections, and you can see how well it has been edited, and it's been edited because the person with the dreads was not in the original photo. The original photo is the clean-shaved GSU officer, and you can imagine when this was being circulated in 2017 in WhatsApp, in Facebook, very few people could say that it's been manipulated or it's fake. So you'll end up seeing people forwarding this, and it can create anxiety and fear. So it went with the image where the guy with the dreads is, the caption went is, the government is trying to suppress voter turnout of voter or people who want to protest in opposition strongholds will face this militia. But the original photo was about security preparedness during elections. It had nothing to do with voter suppression or quelling if there were any protests at that time. So this is an example of manipulation, and especially now, as I said, towards the election, we'll start to see that, and we need to be very careful. So we look at some of the tools. I'll show you some of the tools that you can use to quickly check whether an image is real or has been used before, or it's been manipulated. So there's this image here. I don't know if you can see it properly. And the caption says, "Who reacts to listening to lawyer after listening to lawyer Otiende Omolo? Brilliant submission during BBI case." And this is a screenshot of a video. But before we go deeper into this, is there anything off? Are you seeing something off with this image? Now using your journalism skills, is there anything off?
The president is waving and there's a proceeding going on. So I think that's so unusual.
That's true, Jack. It's the behavior of the president. It's unlikely for him to be waving and to be reacting to Otiende Amolo's submission. That's true. Is there something else? Anything that is off with that photo? Jack has pointed to one. Does that TV look a bit off? Does it look a bit misplaced and sort of superimposed?
Yes, even the I don't know if it's the window behind the TV, it kind of looks off.
Yeah. And you can see the contrast between the TV and the rest of the image. That must be the thinnest TV ever, if it's a TV. Yeah, so those are some of the things that probably you might need to have a look at and carefully just monitor, because this is a screenshot of a video, so, and then it's posted on social media, so people might tend to believe that this happened, but in actual sense that was not the case. So yes, the president was waving, but it was in another completely different forum, America Chamber of Commerce, where he had been invited as a guest. And usually sometimes when people are saying kwaheri, the session is over, sometimes people do raise their hands to say bye-bye or to gesture in that instance. But that now you can see when State House tweeted this, the TV looks a bit more believable in this instant. The caption also had some sort of typos, Otiende Amolos, okay, and some of those things that you might want to pick out as you're doing your investigations. Yeah, so that's the difference. So this is also manipulated. You can see it's manipulated, and you can see that the TVs are quite different. Yeah, so again, you can go back if you suspect you have seen something like this. You can go back to the source and see if they tweeted something like that or they shared something like that on Facebook or Twitter. So like going back to State House to confirm. Right, so this is another photo of a protester in Hong Kong, and it was shared by a magazine called LM Entertainment and showing one of the protesters hurling back the tear gas canister back to the police using a tennis racket. That was they were saying it's in Hong Kong in 2018, but the original photo was used in 2016, and it was not in Hong Kong, it was in France. So you can see another example of misplaced caption, a caption that, misplaced time and caption. So this is an image that was used elsewhere, and we'll look at also how to look at that. So one of the ways that you can search images is by using reverse image search. So if you go to images.google.com, so using images.google.com, what that does is you're telling Google to go back in time, or rather search for such a similar image. And we'll look at a few examples of how to do that. But let's look at the tools first, and then we'll look at a few tasks. So this is how the image search looks like. And what you need to do if you are seeing a photo that probably you suspect, or you want to confirm whether it has been used before, if it has appeared elsewhere. So this is the images.google.com page, and you click on this camera icon. You can paste the URL here, the URL of not of the content page with the story, but the URL of the image. So you can right click the image and you'll see the URL of the image, or you can download it and upload it, and you can upload it from your computer, and then it will do an image search. We'll have a look at that. Let me show you another one. There's this one called tineye.com. It does the same thing. tineye.com. You upload a photo, or you paste the URL here, and you'll be able to, and you can add to Chrome. If you're using Chrome, you can just right click an image, and you'll be able to get the search. Let's see. Can do some tests now. So you have two tools. You have Google Reverse Image, and you have TinEye. There are many more, but we'll just focus on this first. Let's see. So this is a photo that had been circulating during the 2020 Olympics, and some captions went with the lady was, is it 8 months pregnant, and she was running either in the trials for the Olympics or during the Olympics. So we want to confirm this photo if it happened in 2020 and where it happened, and we want to use the reverse image technique. So you can either use Google Reverse Image or the TinEye. So let me share with you the link to this image. Let me know if you're able to see it. So that's the link to the image using TinEye or Reverse Image, Google Reverse Image. I just want to know, when was this image first published? You can, whoever is first, whoever does it, okay, you can tell us, unmute or put it on the chat section. We just want to confirm. So most people are saying this happened in 2020. Some people, this image was circulating in 2020 during the Olympics. And her name is there, Alicia Montano. So we want to know, when did this image first appear, and where, or which month rather. Give you a minute or two. Cornelia, say July 2014, I think. Anyone else who has gotten a result? 1st October 2019. Let's, as others are also checking out, let's see. Sumaya, say June 2014, when she ran the 800-meter race at Sacramento in California, USA. That's good. There's June 28th, 2014, Chanel. That's good. So let's have a look at it together. So let's start with Google reverse image. So as we said, you use the camera icon, you can download or you can paste the URL here. And then you search by image. So it gives you some sort of background, and then it brings you similar images. So you can see 2020. So you want to go down and see if you start to see other dates. So this is 2014 July, 2014 June. So now you're already starting to see also it might be before that. So you can come here and use the tool button, which we discussed last week. If I'm seeing 2014, I can now filter that by time. And then you can put a custom range. So I'm seeing 2014. So let me put from 2010. I want to see if it goes way before 2014 and 2015. So I told Google, search for this image when it was first published, but between 2010 and 2015. So any time else, it will not be included. So I'm seeing June 2014 and June 2014, 29th June. So this is the earliest probably this image appeared. So this is using Google reverse image. I think some of you got it, which is right. So by using TinEye, same process, but with a slight difference. So if I paste the URL here and I search for that, the advantage of probably sometimes using TinEye is that you can filter this. You can filter this by best match, the one that closest to that, or the one that has most changed. The biggest image, sometimes the biggest, if you search with the biggest image, it is probably the original image. The newest one was the latest published, and then the oldest. So you want to see who was the first one to publish. So you use oldest, and you can see June 27, 2014, and it was published by The Independent on that date. And then you can see, as you scroll down, there are other publications that also picked it up. And you can click on that story to get the context. So that's how you use TinEye. And just a disclaimer, if you use TinEye, sometimes because they also have ads, so you'll see, I think when you're looking at another example, we'll see that, but just ensure that you skip, just like the way Google has sponsored ads or an ad. Sometimes you might see sponsored here, so you skip the sponsored because those appear fast because it's how they make revenue. So you'll start with the ones that are not sponsored. So probably it will be the third or fourth. So in case you come across an image, just make sure that you're not looking at the sponsored, because it will be very clear around here that it's sponsored. It's an ad. So most likely it's sponsored by maybe stock image or something like that. So that's two ways of looking at it. And there are many other search engines that you can do the same. So there is a Russian one called Yandex. And then there's Bing, Microsoft. So these are all search engines. You can do reverse image with them, and Baidu from China. So the best thing, if you don't find your results in one search engine, try either of them, and you'll see if you can get a result. Some are better than others in terms of maybe facial recognition. Some are better with location, but it's also good to check with that. But I'll also show you a tool where it combines all that. So you don't need to open different search engines. You just need to click on one thing, and it should give you options of searching one image using different search engines. We'll look at that in a few. All right, so one more task. Let's see which one. This one. So there's this photo here that went viral. It shows, this is a park in South Africa, and shows that elephant carrying a cub and the lioness walking besides it. And we just want to see, we want to verify if really this happened. Let me share with you the link. So we want to see first, let's start with the fact checker. Let's start with the fact checker, fact check explorer. Let's see if you can find anything concerning this image, and then we'll look at reverse image search and see what you can get. When was this? So this one was, they said it happened in 2021, but I want to see the original image. Let's start with fact checker and then use fact. You can either use fact checker, so you can write your answer there, or you can unmute and tell me the answer. When was this first published? And which tool have you used? Have you used fact checker or have you used the reverse image search? Anyone who has found the original image or found out if it's true or not? Okay, let's work on it together. So let's start with Fact Check Explorer. So you have seen that photo and you're not too sure. You can just describe it. Stacy, March 6, 2008. Okay, we'll have a look at it and see. So you're here at Fact Check Explorer and you just describe what you're seeing. So elephant. So as that is, I think it's working. I think there's a problem with the internet. Let's look at the reverse image. See if it will be back. So this is the image. You pick the link of the image. Let's use, as we said, sometimes it's faster to use TinEye sometimes, but you can use any. So I've pasted the link there. And you can see these are the results. 2494 results. The first one to be published was March 2008. But you can see here the lioness and the cub are not in the image. So you can see most of them 2008 were not there. But if you change that to newest, you might see a different image here. You can see the images change. So just ensure that you change to oldest here. And this is also an example of, so what it has done, it has searched for the original image, and you can see that it was edited. It was an April Fool's prank by the South African, I think, park, just to keep people going, or keep people, it's not a fake news per se, but it is sort of a prank. And probably you might know about satire websites, which are comical, and they sort of shift the truth. But it's also good to know, to help people understand that that was satire. But if you are able to use this tool, well and good. And there are also other tools like Yandex, Bing, and Baidu, which also do the same thing. All right, so let's see if you can see that. Let's try it again on Fact Check Explorer. Don't even have to be perfect. Yeah, now you can see some of the claims that have been debunked, and you can see it's a quick search. You can use this, and you'll see that many people have fact-checked this, and the rating is false. And then you can read the story on how they went about it and the context around that. Okay, so that's, I think we are good with images, but let me give you the last one here. Thanks for those who got it. This is the last one here. That's a link, and this should be the image. So this was an image taken in Nigeria, and the claim here was it was during the NSAS. They had this huge demonstration against police brutality in 2019, 2018. But I just want to know, when was this image first taken? Was this during the NSAS protest? Or what was the context? What was happening here? And when did it happen? Anyone? Okay, we'll do a quick search. Let's use this. So there's one that says 2012, but doesn't look exactly the same. So you want to look at something that is quite almost similar, with signboards here. So this is Global Post. So if you look at this link, you'll see it happened in 2014. It had nothing to do with the protests and police brutality. It was, I think, fuel hike that happened in 2014. So you can see in this example, it's not just the authorities or people who, people who might say they are in authority who tend to push fake news. So in this instant, it was being pushed to show how huge the protest is. And this is from the people, in as much as probably they had their own legitimate reasons to protest. But either way, you need to fact check all things. And that's why even as a journalist, you need to be very careful not to be pulled by your biases or your emotions or your inclinations. So always have that small degree of doubt, counter check everything and see if it checks out. And that's why we are even learning some of these tools today. Okay, one last tool is what we call, especially in reverse search. So if probably it can work, the tools that I've shown you can work on mobile, but this app by Google is quite useful when it comes to doing searches, not just reverse search, but searches in general. So probably some of you might maybe have it on your phones, but it's a very good tool. If you have it, you can just download it on Play Store and you'll see what it can do. So what it does, you just need to point your camera to an image, an object, take a photo with the app, and then it will search the internet for similar images. So in this illustration here, even probably you don't know which flower this is, you can just take a photo and then it will give you similar images and tell you what flower it is. So in terms of fact checking, you're on your phone, you're on WhatsApp and people are sending images and you want to do a reverse image search, you can, if you have downloaded the app, you can open your folders, your WhatsApp image folders using the app, select the particular image and do a reverse search using your phone. Probably may not be able to do that here, but if you have time and maybe later you can try and do it, and then you'll see the results that you get. The good thing with the Google Lens is that you are able to even focus. So you can have the bigger image, but what Google Lens does, you are able to focus on the exact area you want to search. So you can indicate in your app that you don't want to search the whole image, you want a particular place or a particular face or a particular region, and it will just try and do a reverse image search. So it's quite comes quite handy, especially when you're doing a reverse image search on mobile. So we'll go to video verification and how do you do that? So a few things to note. First, read the comments, especially if it's posted on social media. You'll find that comments will sort of give you direction or try and help you understand what's happening. So because most of the things that are posted online, people might respond to them. So you'll find comments like, no, this didn't happen here, or no, this, in fact, no, this is not what was happening, or he did not say that. So just read the comments. Just a quick note is that sometimes comments can also be manipulated, or comments can be generated by people who want to push a certain narrative, because we saw that during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially when it came to vaccines. You'll find people who post things and then a whole army will just be behind them and saying, yeah, this happened actually to my brother or happened to my sister, or there are people I know. So that can also be manipulated. So you need to be careful about that. A quick Google News YouTube search will help you verify if something happened. If, for example, there's an accident that happened on the Nakuru Eldoret highway, just searching, doing a quick search can help you verify and see if there's anyone saying something about it. You can do a reverse video search, which is similar to image reverse search, and I'll show you how to go about it. For those who are familiar to TweetDeck, you can do a quick TweetDeck search, and TweetDeck is just a platform for Twitter, but with many more capabilities. And then YouTube GeoFind is something that we looked at last week. You can search for particular videos based on the locality, based on the geography. So you can use GeoFind to verify if a YouTube video was uploaded in that region. So let's start with Invid. And Invid is a project by the EU. It's free for journalists. But you probably might need to, if you're using your laptop or your computer, you can download the plugin, because it works with the plugin. That's the link. and that's how it looks like. So if you want to download the plugin, you come to Tools here and download this Invid verification plugin. So I already have it in my computer, so I'll launch it. You can, let me share the screen. So the plugins for Chrome should be here. So if I click here, there should be a drop down that you see, but it's not showing on your end. But if you click here, it shows fake news debunker by Invid. So okay, just a minute. Let's see if it will show here. So this is the plugin area. It's a bit small, but fake news debunker. So it's one of the plugins here. And then it shows something like this: open toolbox or open assistant. So it opens the toolbox and you can do a video analysis, image search. So you can do a reverse image search and look for metadata and all that, and video analysis. So let's say you have a video. So this is a video here. So it shows leaked video footage shows Eritrean troops shelling villages in Tigray. So you want to verify if this actually happened in Tigray. So what you pick you can either pick the link there, the YouTube link, and come back to the toolbox. Then click on video analysis, then paste and then submit. So what it does an analysis and gives you a breakdown. So it gives you, the video count, the like, the dislike, and there's something that down here, verification comments. So sometimes you'll find that there's a verification comment. So if you open there, someone has said so fake, but we don't know if it's fake or not. But what Invid does, it sort of splits that video into several images. And probably some of you know that a video is just images that have been brought together and, and to make a continuous continuous video. So you have this video and you want to verify if this video is valid. So you can do that for Facebook. Sometimes the link may not work, so you might have to download the Facebook video and upload it here using Invid. And you can see down here, it gives you the options of searching these images using different kinds of search engines. So if you use Yandex, for example, it opens very many tabs. It's in Russian, so probably you might need to translate, Google Translate. You can see it does quite a good job of trying to identify where this is, and gives you similar videos. Like this one shows similar images. Some are written in Amharic. So that helps you to verify if that's true. So in this instant, it was true. We did a background check. We found that actually it happened in Tigray. But this one also helps you to quickly give search. It gives you the screenshots or the slides in different ways, and helps you to know that whether you're on the right track or not. So I think the best thing is for you to download Invid, and I can send you probably something to check out, and you'll at your own time. But I was just showing you the process. That's how it goes. So what you're doing is similar to image search, but what you're doing is you're just taking a few segments of the video and trying to do an image reverse search of that image. And you can do the same even with your phone. So you've gotten a video, you can pause the video and take a screenshot of a particular place in that video and do a reverse image search of that screenshot you have taken and see if you'll get. Sometimes it may not work on the first instance, so you can move the video to something that is more clear, take a screenshot, do a reverse image search using Google Lens or Google, any of these tools that we have discussed. So that's one way, one of the ways you can use to do a reverse image search on videos. So this is to check if that video has been used elsewhere, or if that video has been manipulated. If you want to check if a video has been manipulated, there's another way to do it. Let me show you. So that's share. Yeah, so the process here is download the plugin and then do simultaneous reverse image search. Then you can reverse video search. So that tool has a lot of functionalities, from video to images, and to see if an image has been manipulated. This is a video that was shared in Nigeria, showing it was showing that this first video here, that there are people who are smuggling gold out of Nigeria, the Zamfara state. But there's a way we did the reverse search. Let me show you. So this is the video. It's on Instagram, and we downloaded the video. So it is easier if you download the video. There are tools that you can download Instagram videos and all that. And this is showing that. So we used Invid, and what we came up with is that this did not happen in Nigeria. This happened in Colombia, and this some drug cartels had built an airport within an airstrip within the forests. So same process: download it, upload it on Invid here, and then do a reverse image search, and you'll see what you get. And as I said, if you don't get results from one source, it's always safe to check other search engines. You can search Bing, or you can use other kinds of search engines like TinEye or Yandex. In that instance, we got the results using Yandex, and we were able to get it on that. But I'll send you the link to this Instagram video, then you can try it out. Just maybe open it and leave it there, then you can try it using Invid once you have downloaded the plugin. There's this tool called Watch Frame by Frame. So what this does, it slows the frames significantly so that you're able to tell if there's been any edit. Let's try it with this. So this is what you will see. There's a video here that had been posted. So you just paste the video there, and they are saying there's a real giant monster sighted in Ngong Hills, and you can quickly go step by step, like frame by frame, to see if this was real. So it goes very, very slow. And one of the things that you'll notice that it was manipulated. There's a place here, and there's a place you actually see. So you just use these icons here to move very slowly, frame by frame, to see if something is off. And at some point you'll see there's a place we saw motorbike. There's a car or a motorbike, I think it's here. You'll see a few things that are quite off. Like you can see the head disappears, or it's behind one wind vane and in front of the other wind vane. There's a place that I think I saw a motorbike going reverse. So these are things that have been manipulated, but you can have a look at it at your own time and see if there's something off. So the links, don't worry about the links and actually I'll send all this, the recording plus the links and the conversations to you, so that if you missed anything, you'll be able to refer to it later. So that's how watch by frame works. And then there's this called Citizen Amnesty YouTube Data Viewer. What this does, it gives your data. If you uploaded a video, it shows where was this video uploaded, who uploaded it, when was it uploaded, the location, the time, and all that. So this is to verify sort of some of those details you want to verify if it was uploaded at this time and the location. Yeah, so that's it for photo and video verification. For geo and social, I'll just quickly go through it. And what I really want us to do is a small task at the end, just 4 questions, which will bring all these tools together. And the task is online. If you have your laptop or your desktop, it will be best to use that because it will give you a step-by-step method of how to go about it. So for geolocation, what you want to take note of, and by geolocation, what I mean is you want to identify a video or a photo based on the location, based on the geographical features that you see, so that if someone took a photo of, let's say, Malindi, are you able to identify some features? Are you able to tell a few features from the photo that will help you or guide you in terms of the place where this photo was taken? So look at the street patterns, even if it's on traffic, the cars being driven on the left, on the right. Have a look at the number plates. Look at the buildings around. Are you seeing any building that stands out in terms of architectural design? Are you seeing street signs or shop fronts or texts in those shops? That can be a very good indicator, because you can see probably a shop written minus Baba shop or something like that. That is a good indicator of where is this place, or rather this is in Kenya, yes. And then it will help you to narrow down by just doing a quick Google search to narrow down the location. So license plates, this is in different countries. Some countries have different license plates for different states or counties or cities. So that's also something that you can take note of. audio. Are you hearing anything in the video? Are you hearing church bells, call to prayer in a mosque? Are you hearing children playing in the background? What sounds are you hearing? So also take note of that. The terrain, are you seeing any mountains, or is there a lake? Is it slopey? Is it a flat area? So those are things that you can take note of. So in this example here, you can see a photo here, someone who is trying to just understand how that street looks like. So they had looked at the number plate. They did a scan of this number plate and found that this is in Greece, but the video was showing, this caption that went with this video showed that this was happened in France. But when they did a quick scan of the number plate, they saw that these number plates are actually in Greece. And then they started looking at the signs here. They looked at the traffic lights, the direction of the road. And they were able to pinpoint the exact location. This is a good illustration of some of the tools that were used. This is an investigation by BBC Eye, probably BBC Africa Eye. Some of you might know the work that they do, very good work. And the story here is that they came across a video showing a few military officers indiscriminately shooting, I think, some women and children in a location that looked in Central Africa. And they started looking at the video, they started investigating, and they were able to pin where it happened, when it happened, who was involved. And initially, the government of Cameroon had said, no, this is fake news. This didn't happen in Cameroon, it happened in Mali. But because of the work that BBC Eye Africa did, and it was quite extensive and took a while, they finally came out and said, yes, this happened in Cameroon, and 7 officers have been arrested in regards to this. So let me send you the link to this so that you also have a look at it. So the tools that we have shared also work with investigative stories. So it's not just for fake news, but also for investigative stories. It can come in handy. So this is the thread. So you can have a look at it. It's a sad story, but because of the work that BBC Africa Eye, some soldiers were held accountable for what happened. So the tools that they used, how they went about it, how the government responded to it, they were able to use Google Maps to sort of scan the landscape and know that this is the exact area that the killings happened. Again, as I said, they used their journalism skills. They looked for sources, and the sources pointed them to the right direction. They were able, again, to use Google Maps to show how the area has changed over that period and the location. So this comes in, the tools that we have looked at can also be good for investigative journalism. But have a look at that thread and see how they went about it. I'll leave you to check that out later. It's a good example of using some of these tools for investigative journalism. Right, so there's this other tool here called SunCalc, which also BBC used. And SunCalc, what it does, it can tell you the exact location of an image where it happened, or video, based on the shadow. So if probably you have an indication of it happened in, let's say in Tororo, Uganda, just an indication, but you want to confirm the shadow of the object or the shadow of the building or a tree or a person. If you put that in suncalc.org, it will point you to the right direction and tell you between this time and this time, the shadow is this long and it faces this direction. So that's called SunCalc. May not have time to go through it, but it's quite easy. You just change the time, the location, can change this the dates, and it will tell you the distance in terms of the shadow. Quickly on social media, there's a whole track on social media verification, but it's also good to note a few things that, if you see, has the person been verified, the source of that information, look at if they've been verified, if they have other connections, friends, if they have other interactions beyond the subject. Like if you see a Twitter account just posting about COVID vaccine since the time it was created, then that is also raises a red flag. How old is the profile? Do they have other relationships, friends? Are there relatives among those friends? So just looking at the profile will give you an indication of whether that account is legit or not. But again, that in itself cannot be the basis. It's just an indicator. So you just need to go beyond that. So there are other tools that you can use to show whether they are bots or not. This is a tool called Botometer, and it can just help you to see whether a Twitter user is a bot or not. There's InfoLeak, gives a breakdown of your Twitter user, very detailed analysis, and there's also TweetBeaver. So all these tools I'll just send to you in the presentation. Have a look at them. What I was keen on is to see how we can do a task so that some of the tools that we have learned today can help you. See, so this is the verification quiz. Let me send you the link. So I'll give you, we have 20 minutes to go. I'll give you like 5-7 minutes to do this quiz, but in case anyone has a problem, just let me know. So this is what you should see on your desktop or laptop. Just 4 questions. They have clues if you want to have a, or how to. They also give an indication of how to go about it, or even give you clues on how to go about it. So there's 4 questions. So I'll give you 5 minutes. And after this, then we will be done. So we'll go through it together quickly. At least 1 or 2 questions that probably we haven't covered very well. And then we'll have the feedback form, and that's it. So 5 minutes, then you can move on. If you have encountered any issue with the quiz, just pop the question and then we look at it. None who has finished. We've gotten 4 to 4. Are you done? We can start doing it together very quickly. For those who did this, which year was this? Those who got it. Okay, 2016, yes. So this, I think we have done. So just reverse image search. You can tell that this was not a protest of the COVID-19. It was something completely different. So that was 2016, correct? So is this a real doctor? Those who got it? Yeah, so the doctor is for the NHS in the UK. So again, do a reverse image search. If you just look at the hint, you can see the hints here. You can try different social media engines, Yandex, Bing, and TinEye. So just download the image, you'll get the answer right there. The ones that I want us to look at together. So this one, this photo, the caption says that early cases of COVID-19 are probably linked to a live animal market in Wuhan. So we want to know if this is in China or where is this place. So if you look at that, this is the hint that they gave. And you click on that. If you download the image, that is, you can see the directions here are written in English, although there's a lot of Chinese speaking Chinese languages here. So the way you go about it is if you do a reverse image search, you'll find that this image appeared, and it shows like if I click on this, because I have on these tones, if I right click, I've downloaded them, you'll see you can open that in, let me search it using TinEye. So as I was saying, just ensure that you ignore. So this is sponsored and this is sponsored. And because I did a reverse image search using TinEye, I'll start to see US FBI ones, file name, especially if you look at file name and captions, New York, Chinatown, New York, Chinatown. So this is New York, Chinatown. So it's not in China, as some will want us to believe. So New York, Chinatown. So I did a reverse image search. So, but the next question is asking me, so exactly the street. And if you look at the hint here, it says there's a salon. You open that, let me show you. So you just need to have a keen eye. You can see there's Hair Plus here. So I want to know the street. So I can see Hair Plus, New York. Let me share this. So I'm searching for Hair Plus, New York, just on Google search. So I'm seeing Hair Plus, New York, and then I come here to images or maps. What I need is maps. So I open that on maps and I look for Hair Plus. It's here. So I zoom in to Hair Plus, zoom in as much as possible. And I can see it's Pearl Street. Pearl Street. Another way is this small yellow man here. If there's something called Google Street View, you can pick and drag that person so that you actually see the street as it is. And you can do that on any map, even in Kenya. If you open Google Maps, you'll see a yellow man on the right hand, bottom right hand, and you can just pick and drop. You do that, it changes the view. And you can see the actual street as it is. So you can compare and see. So this is Pearl Street. You can move around here and see if it's the same street. So this is hair design. So if I want to Hair Plus design, I want to move, there's an arrow here, just move like that, go back and see the Hair Plus. So the only thing that you need to take note, this is August 2018. So this photo was taken in August 2018. There are some images that you can go back in time. So up to 2011. So this is a timeline. You can pick 2019. And if you click on the image, it goes back in time and shows you this is Hair Plus. So this image here, Hair Plus, was most probably taken around 2019. So this is how you go about it. You can use the Google Maps just to verify the place, and you can use the street view to actually walk the streets and see how it looks like. So you can navigate. You can actually take a trip in any city and see how things are by using Street View. All right, I think that's it for today. My last ask for today is just a quick feedback using the menti.com. So you go to your phone, menti.com, and type in the keyword here, share with you. The number is 57. So the feedback helps us to give you better training and to know what to change and what to improve on. So if you're on Menti, please use that keyword, as I also take in questions and comments. So menti.com, Menti is like that, and that's the code to use. I'll appreciate your feedback so that we also improve on our training. Any question? Any clarification? So as you fill in the survey, you can, I'll also leave my email on my email will be on the slides when I send them to you. So if you have any question, if you come across something that is probably difficult to fact check, feel free to just reach out, and I will see how we can fact check it. Once you have filled the survey, you are free to exit unless there are no questions, or you can leave your question on the comment or the comment section, on the chat section. Then next week, next Wednesday, we'll be looking at data journalism and visualization. Data journalism and visualization. Again, for those who attend on the 4 sessions, will get a certificate of attendance or certificate of participation, which I'm sure will be useful even as you get into the job market. So if you are done, you can exit. Thank you so much for attending. I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things that you'll use. And as you get to know some of these tools, you become also a champion of fact-checking. So wherever you're at, if you are able to use some of these tools to fact-check any information that is out in the public, then you can help also in spreading the right information. So I'll see you next Wednesday. So just leave that screen there, and the poll is still going on, the survey. But I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ken. I think that was very, very informative. We'll make sure that you have access, those who have attended, to have access to this particular training that has been recorded. And we really look forward to seeing you again next week. This has been very good, and I believe even within our class context, it would have been very hard to go through these tools and even to be able to apply them. So we really appreciate, and we don't take this for granted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anish.